The military budget in Russia from 1999 to 2024 increased by more than 65 times. Such data is published by Radio Liberty. At the same time, prices over the same period jumped almost 9 times. Analysts at the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute have calculated that, more than other factors, inflation in developed countries, the average annual increase in oil prices and the dollar exchange rate, inflation in Russia is influenced by the growth of the military budget. After all, in fact, billions of rubles poured into the production of equipment and payments to military personnel do not allow the country's economy to develop. Some of the money literally burns up on the battlefield, while some contributes to high prices in stores.
That is, the payments to the participants in the invasion alone are almost twice as much as the federal budget expenditures on education. 1.5 trillion rubles planned for 2024. Or, for example, healthcare, planned at 1.6 trillion rubles. In total, Russia must spend 8.7% of its GDP on expenses related to the war and ensuring security. In 2024, as Putin stated, payments to military personnel affect the economy of individual regions. For example, they are reflected in the increase in savings. However, the growth in consumption is caused by the increase in the population's income due to the growth of wages amid a labor shortage and economic growth supported by the defense industry sector. From a publication by The Insider.
Experts are confident that the Russian top military political leadership has found itself hostage to its own decisions. On the one hand, the costs of continuing the war against Ukraine are inevitably growing. On the other hand, even more needs to be spent to replenish the personnel of the Russian army. Thus, one-time payments for signing a contract with the Minister of Defense are growing every month.
They continue to raise the price tag for signing a contract with the Ministry of Defense. Here are posters from St. Petersburg. 1.3 million is now a one-time payment. Let me remind you that they started with 200,000 2 years ago. This is an increase of 6.5 times in 2 years, and let us know that we started hearing news about 1 million in the spring and how quickly this amount is increasing. These friends can only mean one thing: they are unable to attract people even with this kind of money, although it is a lot of money. Well, if being realistic, this is an order of magnitude higher than the median salary in the region.
Meanwhile, Russian authorities and propagandists are preparing society for a long war. Recently, the Kremlin-controlled media has reinterpreted the comments of Deputy Chairman of the Russian Security Council, Dmitry Medvedev, and circulated the thesis that Ukraine allegedly will not exist by 2034. This means, in their opinion, a full-scale war will last another 10 years.
This sets careful information conditions and societal expectations for a war that will last another decade, but one that will end with Russia's desired victory. This Russian narrative also directly and strongly undermines select Kremlin officials. Separate attempts to suggest that Russia is willing to negotiate for peace with Ukraine and further emphasizes that the Kremlin's only desired end state for the war is the complete destruction of the Ukrainian state and people. From a report by the Institute for the Study of War.
Previously, British intelligence stated that the change in the Kremlin's rhetoric from conducting a so-called special operation, but in fact a full-scale war against Ukraine, to confronting the collective West indicates that Russia is ready for a protracted war despite human and financial losses. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Larissa Petruk, UATV News.